Um, okay, roll call. Justin, not here. Chris DeSilva. I saw your name, Chris.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Oh,
Greg Johnson.
yes.
Alexis, no. Brian.
Yes.
Mike Stevens.
Yes.
Karen.
Yes.
Wayne. Wayne is not on. I'm
No.
here. Mark Anderson. I did not see Mark. Anthony. I did not see Anthony. Matthew.
Yes.
Thank you. Nick.
Yes.
Ken Newhouser will probably not be attending tonight. Josh, I did not see. And that's it for voting members. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Look at 8. Let me read the statement. And then we'll get it started. In accordance with the Open Meeting Law Regulation 940 CMR 29.10, please be advised that the school building committee members are attending this meeting remotely. In addition, because building committee members are attending remotely, all votes taken at this meeting will be roll call vote. Lastly, if any building committee member is not clearly audible to his or her fellow members or to any members of the public, please notify the chair or his or her designee immediately, and we'll do our best to remedy the problem, and will inform the public whether the meeting will continue. There will be time for questions from the public at the end of the formal meeting. If a member of the public wishes to speak, please raise your hand on your computer, and when called upon, please state your name for the meeting minutes. All right, that's it. We are officially started. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes, but since we do not appear to have a quorum, we will forego the approval of minutes. So, Phil, it's all yours.
Thank you, Jerry. Brady's actually going to take it away.
Okay.
Thanks, Jerry. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, like Phil mentioned, the only vote that we had tonight was the minutes. So tonight will just be kind of a project schedule, construction update, and we'll talk about the budget update, and then Chris will do the designer update. So let's jump right into it. So first up, project schedule and construction update. So no changes to this milestone dates. We're about 43% complete with phase 1, which is going through November of next year. And then after that, students and staff will move into the new building end of 2026. And then abate and demo existing building starting in January 27 through February of 27. And then move on to completing the site work in summer of 2027. So again, no updates to this. Next up, this slide I kind of updated just to break it up by each area. So we'll start with area C. Interior ductwork installation on the second floor is complete. Interior framing install is complete at both levels. Stair pans and risers at stairwell 5 are complete. Window install has started. We did just, the next slide will be a couple of pictures, but they are moving forward with the windows. We did just do a water testing last week that passed, so that's good news there. So that's kind of what we've been waiting on, and now it's just going to be hot and heavy. We'll start steamrolling ahead with the windows. Exterior brick veneer in area C is complete. In-wall plumbing install, MEPs, rough installs are ongoing. Piping and duct insulation, that's progressing. Spray foam installation, roof membrane is complete, and spray foam insulation has started. Also, hollow metal frame install is complete at the first floor and then progressing at the second floor. So moving on here, a couple pictures. To the left here, you got the window install at C1 that I just talked about. And then on the right-hand side, you have some interior windows and door frames, mechanical duct and piping. And then moving on to the left-hand side, this is the stairwell number 5 installed at C-Wing. And then here's a picture of the spray foam installation at C2 exterior walls. Area A, this is right in the middle of the building. MEP rough installs are ongoing, progressing. Interior metal framing is ongoing. Window framing is complete. ABB installation is complete. And the roof membrane is progressing in Area A. Concrete slab on grade is about a third complete. Here are some pictures of Area A. You got on the left-hand side mechanical duct and pipe and interior framing complete at A2. And then on the right-hand side, you get the wire mesh and vapor barrier install. And this is Area A1 office. Here's a good picture of backfilling and compacting under the slab. This is in A1. This is the gymnasium area. And then on the right-hand side, this is the concrete placement at kitchen and mechanical room, A1. Moving on to Area B, concrete slab on grade is complete. They completed that last week. Interior construction, track and hangers for all MEPs, that's ongoing. Light gauge metal framing, masonry anchors, C-clips, stuff like that, that's complete. Exterior blocks and sheathing are progressing. ABB install is progressing, and then interior spray on fireproofing is complete. Stairwell 4 concrete block install is complete, and then that will be followed by the stairwell number 4. Moving on pictures, left-hand side concrete placement at B1 slab on grade. Again, that was last Wednesday. They did complete that. And then on the right-hand side, stairwell number 4, the CMU blocking is complete. And then here's the picture on the left-hand side, exterior sheathing. That's ongoing at B-wing west side. And then on the right-hand side, mechanical duct and piping progress. And then just to touch on some of the site work, excavation for the solar canopy, isolated foundations is complete. Install of water main valves and hydrants are progressing. Driveway leveling and compacting are progressing. Cast in place concrete at the retaining wall is complete, and excavation and concrete encasement around duct banks are progressing. A couple pictures here, left-hand side water line excavation and install north of B-wing. This is the, on the right-hand side, electrical duct bank to the battery pad that we talked about at the last meeting. 2 more here. These are the isolated foundations of the solar canopy. Excavation is complete. That's the retaining wall in the back. It has been backfilled. And then here's a fire hydrant installed at its final location along the drive. And then here's a nice picture that was captured by Maynard PD that was sent out a couple weeks ago. It's a nice drone aerial pictures. These pictures come out awesome. They also put together a video. I don't know if you guys saw that, but they do a really good job. Gives a great overview of the progress that's been made and where it is in comparison to the existing school. You get the drive back here. This is the geothermal well field. Kind of got cut off here, but this is where that big retaining wall is in the back. And then also the retaining wall on this side. You got the temp playground over here. Any questions on any of the progress made so far?
Yeah, quick thing, Brady. It's just a comment, not a question, but since I was involved for 7 years with the high school construction, and that was before we had Zoom, and it was all live meetings. And for a handful of us who got to actually go in and see the construction on a weekly, bi-weekly basis, that was great. But most of the committee members did not get to see the construction. And having these meetings like this, more people can attend. And you put the pictures out and you explain where things are, more of the committee members, at least in my mind, get to see the real progress of what's going on. I think it's great. Nice job. Thank you very much for showing those photos. It's a great way to update everybody. Thank you. That's it.
Thanks, Jerry. Any other questions or comments? Perfect. All right. So that's it for the construction update. So we'll move on to the project budget update. Okay, so since we last met, which was the 6th, October 6th, we have 5 new invoices that we plugged into the project budget. Starting at the top here, MVG, their October invoice, $82,000. Beacon Integrated Solutions, that's a solar consulting services, in the amount of $680. Colliers Project Leaders, October invoice, $63,738.50. UTS, that's for material testing, $8,035. And then CTA's construction, October invoice in the amount of $4,579,618.10. So for a total of $4,734,071.60. Jump to the next slide here. So in terms of the OPM budget line item, the paid went up to the 1.16 million. MVG basic services paid went up to the 4.75 million. Other AE costs, that is where we captured the solar consulting services. That invoice, the paid went up to 143K. And then moving on, we have CTA's construction line item that paid went up to 20,050,000. And then material testing, that's UTS, the paid went up to 112,900. Any questions on the project budget update? Great.
So just so everybody knows, we're on schedule and we're on budget. So all good news.
Okay. And then I guess the last thing is the designer update. Chris, you want to take it away?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Brady. So as usual, every month we continue to work with CTA and our consultants, make sure all the RFIs and are responded to, submittals have been reviewed, approved, etc. Those that don't meet the contract requirements, we will reject or ask for a revise and resubmit. So that's ongoing. Things are going well. Things are, I won't say slowing down a little bit, but they're easing up a little bit on just the hot items, etc. But we're continuing to work with CTA to make sure they have everything they need so as not to impede progress and schedule and costs. With regards to cost control, PCO reviews and responses, so we're continuing to review all the PCOs that CTA has put forward. To date, we've had, let's say, 34 PCOs. We've rejected about a half a dozen of those flat out. About a dozen of them, we've asked them to revise and resubmit, which typically results in a much lower cost. So we're staying on top of those items along with Colliers and our consultants, making sure that we're getting the appropriate value for the work, and things are being paid for the quality that we need. Before we get into construction work, because Brady's quite frankly touched on everything I had. Some of the things we have been doing as well as a design update, no design changes per se. We've had conversations regularly with Karen regarding some of the interior stuff, display case locations, tack surface locations, things that will make the school's experience in displaying student artwork and notices and everything else more in line with how Karen and her staff operate the school, which has been good. Hopefully she's finding that well to be worked with. So we're happy to kind of go through that process. We've also met with Karen on relocating some of the existing artwork that's in the existing school. We've found homes and shared those with Karen. there will be another meeting this week with the historical commission to come over and take a look about any plaques that may have been there over a period of time and artwork, and we'll find homes for those as well and make sure that, whatever we want to save and relocate, that progress has been done. So it's always nice to work with the school staff to go through that process. The only other thing I would add about the construction update, Brady's gone through the building progress, MEP, and site work. They are looking to put down a base course of paving before the end of this year, probably before the end of this month, quite frankly, and the paving plant's closed. So that activity looks to be in line. Our consultants have been out continually looking at progress. Our civil engineer will be out in the next week or so to review their progress, as will mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, now that roughing's well underway. Geotech and environmental people have been out when needed and requested to do a variety of inspections with regards to earthwork. Our envelope consultant was out to witness the window testing, make sure everything went well. We have no issues there, so nice to see windows are progressing. Overall, the field reports, including our recent roof report, have been well, indicating that the contractors are doing good work. The quality is very good as expected. It's meeting the contract documents. So from the design team, everything seems to be moving well. We're going to continue to monitor it. Collier is working with Gabriel. We had a nice conversation on Friday about some of the work. So everybody's keeping their eyes on the quality and making sure that contractors doing their job. So far, haven't seen any real hiccups of concern. Just little things that we continue to work with. When I'm there every Wednesday, I'll have conversations with some of the subcontractors and CTA. They're going to ask some questions. We're going to provide some clarification and go back and issue sketches if necessary. So the team that's been out there performing the work have been good to work with, so we haven't seen any issues. Nick?
You mentioned window tests. I don't think I heard the whole sentence. Window tests were done. They all passed. We're looking good, and they're just moving forward, right?
So the initial window test, we had a failure.
Okay.
They came out, fixed the issue. In the meantime, they installed another window that they test and pass. Contractor will have to go back and retest the remedial work on the one that failed. So that'll be scheduled. But now that we have a test, we have the process. Pella's been out. They're supervising the installs. So everything should progress. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select another window to be tested in the coming weeks. So we usually test 2 for every 25% of install.
Yeah.
So there'll be a minimum of 8 windows tested. If there are any failures, contractors required to repair, remediate, do whatever they need, and then the retest is on them. So
Was the failure window product or install like perimeter?
I believe there was a jam trim or a mullion trim that needed to be repaired.
Okay.
Gabriel, you might know better. I wasn't there for the test. Somebody else in my office was.
Yeah, Gabriel, you jump in, but I think it wasn't window frame related, Nick. I think more of adding a bead of caulking, another bead of caulking before putting the sill down. But
Okay,
Gabriel, yeah.
Yeah, so in down below to hold the window, there is a C-clip that gets attached, and the change that they did was instead of penetrating the mullion part with screws, now they left that section only held with caulking all against the vertical plane of the window and just drill down to the wood below. So instead of penetrating, because the water, us with doing the window test, sucking in and pushing air from the front, the water was able to find its way through the screws penetrations in the weep holes. So we prevented that by not drilling against the mullion itself, and now it's working. So that's the process. And they also added, as Chris was saying, another layer of caulking down below continuously further in. But it's a lot of caulking that these windows get, probably like 3 tubes of caulk all around because it gets us several layers, a series uh, of caulk all around. Chris,
thank you.
you can go. Mhm.
Anything else?
That's it. Is there any new or other business that anybody needs to bring up, wants to bring up? Nick, go for it.
Um, Standing in for Mary's place, do we have a drawing yet that's confirmed the layout of the pavers we're going to do for the bricks, for the commemorative bricks? I know we wanted to get something that shows like the pattern of the concrete responding to that, as opposed to just us cutting out a knocking rectangle and putting a bunch of bricks in. Is that something that's been worked on or talked about? I don't know how close we are to that, but
Yeah, so Nick, we're working with the civil team to update that drawing with about 400 square feet and adjust the patterns. I have also talked with our electrical engineer about the heating system.
Hmm.
Putting an electric heating system. So they're working on that with the circuitry. They've indicated, I've asked them to provide not only a potential cost for the install, but an operational cost. Our engineering, who's our electrical engineer, did indicate that these can be somewhat expensive to operate. So I'm trying to get a sense of that as well to present to the committee. So I'll have that for the next meeting. If I've got some information prior to that we can share just for informational. But we'll have a sketch with all that. That's in progress.
there's no way to run that off of the I guess it would say the water from the loop. We don't need it to be 100-degree heat. We just need it to be
Mhm.
not freezing, as
Yep.
opposed to us pumping electricity out there. I have no idea if that's a thing that's possible, but it might be cheaper if we're not having to just burn electricity under the bricks.
Yeah, so the install is definitely more expensive. So I asked my plumbing engineer, and he's looking at a couple things. As I'm sure you know, right? If you're going to use like a PEX tubing, if you encase that in concrete, it's solid. If you put it into an outer layer like this, where it's not in a solid surface, it's in the embedment. If that moves, there's always the possibility of something puncturing, and then you
Yeah.
got to tear it up to repair it. So my electrical engineer and plumbing engineer feel that the electrical system's more efficient, more durable for
Mhm.
longevity,
Go
but I
figure.
can get that information for you.
I mean, if as long as it's been thought about, it sounds like you've thought of both. You stick with the
Yeah,
recommended. That's fine.
yeah.
Good,
So those are my
good,
only two
good.
things. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a
Mhm.
good question, Nick. And thanks, Chris. That was a good update on that one. Because I know we originally had talked about the geothermal and putting the warm water loop underneath, and then it was thought, like you said, it's under the brick area is a moving environment that we could end up with a problem later, and the cost to run the piping outside, is it going to be right already adjacent to where it needs to go, or do they have to extend the loop to do it? So that's when, you folks started talking about maybe electric would be cheaper, pretty cut and dried, direct. And
Yeah.
so it's interesting, but I think the electric long term, I do agree. I think the electric is the better, more stable way to go. But yeah, see what the numbers look like.
Mhm.
Any other questions or new business that needs to be addressed? I don't see anybody screaming or raising hands. Next
Well,
meeting date, go ahead.
you did mention maybe site visits. I know you're saying that having pictures are great. Is there a chance for the site visit? Is it almost time? Wait till maybe
Yeah,
there's more finished to the parts B and C, or A and B are done and not just C.
yeah, when the school opens in 2027, be all set.
Sweet. I will show up
Yeah,
then
yeah, good.
with my college kids who used to go to the school.
Yeah. We had talked about that because the last site visit was, when was, not that many weeks ago, late September, I think, end of
Mhm.
Yeah.
September.
Yeah, Jerry, we could
Um,
figure something out.
yeah,
I think where Nick was going relative to maybe the two wings of the building that aren't as far along as part C, let's let them get a little bit further along, and then maybe that's when the next visit is. We could figure it out.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Here's a visit. Come in January, right?
well,
Yeah.
Happy New Year. Happy new construction site. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there for us to think about because it's going to be, it
Yeah.
always goes fast from now to the end of the year.
yeah,
Yep. Yeah. Beginning of the New Year's. Yep.
All right.
yep, probably be around then. Yeah.
Mhm.
Any other questions, issues? I don't see any. Looks like you put down a date here of December 8th. That's what I had made a note. I was thinking would be due then. Our next meeting, full committee meeting, be December 8th. Our next finance subcommittee meeting is next Monday, the 17th, for anybody who's interested. If there's no other new business, nothing else to update, I would certainly entertain a motion to adjourn if somebody would like to do that. Don't all yell at once.
So moved.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Mike, Stevens.
Yes.
Karen.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm a yes. Mark Anderson's not. Anthony. Matthew.
Yes.
Thank you. Nick.
Yes.
Okay, that's all of them. And Ken Estabrook, you're here as a non-voting member, but certainly welcome aboard. And would you like to adjourn the meeting? If you're still on?
I'm non-voting.
I know, but I'm just curious. Would you like to adjourn? He can. All right, that's it, folks.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Everybody.
See you on the 8th.